Yeah, welcome, guys. It's nice to see you all. Nice full family time. It's so nice. I love it. I love we're having to change the room configuration now because our old boardroom table doesn't fit everyone in, and pretty soon we're going to have our family time meeting in the SA auditorium as opposed to the boardroom, and I'm looking forward to that day as well. So it's all good, and. Before I welcome, we got a bunch of visitors, and I want to welcome all of you guys. But before we do that, we always start our meetings by reading through our mission statement. And I like to ask one of the team members to do that every week, and then just make a comment or two on what it means to them. You know, maybe they want to pick up on one word and just say what their experience has been of being in the team. So this morning I asked Corny Lewitz. So Corny and Franita have been with us about 3 weeks, or how long's it been, Courtney?
Yeah, it's actually a month now, Stephen. Yeah, so we had our first anniversary here. Yeah,
So Courtney and Franita were Harcourt's franchisees, and made the move over to EXP. So I'm going to hand over to you, Courtney. Thanks very much for blessing us this morning with this.
Great, thank you, Stephen. Thanks for the opportunity. Good morning, everybody. All right, so our mission statement, I'm just going to read for it. So our mission statement is to build a growing, collaborative family of agents around the country who support each other to run strong, ethical, profitable businesses in which everyone caps and increases their personal income. So many will also become financially free through the EXP Revenue Share Program and stock awards. In this way, as a group, we will bring positive, disruptive change to the real estate industry in South Africa. So I think just what stands out for me, Franita, is just that collaborative family, that aspect. And I think there's a couple of important things, but I think that is the one that really, speaks to us. And I think, just being here for a month, I think, one can easily feel, you're going to be isolated and you're going to be on your own. But I must say, it was just so far amazing in terms of the support and the belonging, or the feeling of we belong to a bigger family that we experience, which is great for us. I think just four things that I want to highlight here is, if I look at the different platforms from, in terms of this family meeting, the EXP World, the workplace on Facebook, the WhatsApp groups. I think it's just so many places and spaces where you can ask questions, can share information, which is great. I think the second thing is just the willingness, to share transactions, to share listings and share buyers, which we've experienced so far. I think this is something that you will probably not easily get into a traditional brick and mortar setup. But here, we can just see people are very open and willing to share so that each or everybody can, increase their personal income. I think the third thing is also, as I said, it really gives you that sense of belonging. It's a bigger family, and what I've seen so far is, in Cape Town, I think this week there's something happening in Durban. I think on the East Rand, Joburg East Rand, there's something happening, and hopefully in Pretoria we can, get together. But I think it's just that, people are not meeting as avatars in a family meeting, but also face to face, building relationships, building friendships, and meet and learn each other on a different level. And I think the fourth thing, Steve, is also for us, for me, Vanita, the fact that you occasionally check in on, and I think, and I'm sure you do it with each member of this team on a Saturday, or where you will just get a personal WhatsApp note, a voice note, asking, how you're doing. Is there anything that you can help us with? And I think that for us shows really that you care about this family, and I think that is just great for us. And yeah, that's what's important for us.
Great, guys. I don't want to always jump in. Who wants to make it? I thought that was very, very good and heartfelt. Thank you. Thank you very much, Courtney. Anybody else want to comment on that? Yeah, Courtney, I'm glad that you feel like I care. I do care very much, and I'm doing absolutely everything I can in my power to empower you guys to do well in your businesses here at EXP. And while I can't do all of it, obviously there's a lot that's out of my control. But yeah, geez, my biggest prayer coming into this whole business is that every person who joins the team will be blessed through it. It'll be a blessing to you. It'll be a blessing to your husband or your wife, to your children, to your finances, to your future. That this will be a good move for you. So, thanks so much, Courtney. Appreciate your doing that. And yeah, guys, I love the collaboration here. I love the sense of family. I love the sense of help that we give one another on the WhatsApp group. This really has been the most phenomenally collaborative experience that I've ever had. Just like Courtney was saying, and it's phenomenal. I was actually thinking this morning, I've only met a very small handful of you in person. I had lunch with Menov and Michelin because he asked to meet me, and he lives in Cape Town. So I remember we had lunch about 6 months ago at the waterfront, and then a few of you came to my home that one day for that other event. Other than that, I haven't met any of you, and yet I feel like we know each other. We're on a journey together. So yeah, I'm loving it. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate that so much. If you can figure out how to give Courtney a round of applause, please give him a clap. Click your name. If you click your name, top left-hand corner, and then you find the clap button. There you go.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, and I think kudos to all of you. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, so welcome to new agents and guests. I am going to miss a few names. If you are one of the existing EXP members here and you've got a guest with you, please won't you welcome them. I want to welcome among others because you may have walked in after I checked the list. That's very possible, but welcome to Devin and Esther and Jean. So Jean is going to be, hopefully, I'm not going to give the name away, Jean, but hopefully going to be coming in with James Conyers and his team. So James is in the room. So James is joining this week. He's bringing a team of agents in with him. He's the very first team agreement in South Africa. And this week is the week. We've been working towards this for the last 6 months, James and I. And yeah, so happy that it's happening. Can't wait to have he and his team. They've got a fantastic team of agents. And they also have a very close kind of family vibe, so they are going to fit in very well here. So welcome, James and team, if there's more of you guys in here. Joan, welcome, and then okay, I'll welcome Justin just now. Leah, Linda, and Pit Pompis. So we were all having a laugh the other day in the Jason Guessing event because everyone was wondering who on earth is Pit Pompis. Well, Pit Pompis is an agent who, for obvious reasons, doesn't want to be known who he is because he's checking out EXP. But Pit, I know who you are and I want to welcome you. I'm wondering if you could have found another name, Pit. But anyway. Okay. So, guys, I also want to welcome Justin Lopesha. So, Justin is the National Sales Manager of Gumtree. So we've got one of the senior Gumtree executives with us this morning. And Justin, I'm assuming you've never had a meeting in an avatar room like this.
Not at all, Stephen. It's the first time. So welcome to all, and yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure. So we're going to be hearing from Justin in a little while when we get to the training section of the meeting. Because that's what we're launching today is our feed to Gumtree from PropCon. That's up and running, which I'm very excited about. Any other welcomes that I didn't make that any of you guys want to make?
Yeah, I'd love to introduce Jan Tromp. Jan is an attorney and he specializes in conveyancing and notary public work. So we have quite a valuable member on board. If anybody needs any help or any knowledge, it'll be so great to have, to be able to pick your brains, Jan. So yeah, welcome to the team.
Thanks, Paddy. Good to be here. I'm enjoying EXP World. I went out on the speedboat again the other day. Yeah, so it's very, very nice to be here, and I want to make a contribution which in due time, as requested, I can present on anything like, the new property practitioners bill, which can help everybody. And yeah, good to be here.
Excellent, Jan. It's going to be so good to have you on the team. And certainly, I mean, there's no reason why we can't put on special legal training events. If you feel like there's something that's pertinent and that needs training, we can find a time in the diary. The boardroom here is most of the time it's available, so we can set up events for it. So if everyone, whoever wants to come to those events is then welcome to do it. That's one of the powerful things about this whole EXP world is you don't have to book venues, you don't have to pay for venues. It's phenomenal that there's always a venue available, and it is for free. Okay, cool. Any other welcomes? All right, good, guys. So kudos and thank yous. So who wants to say thank you to someone this week?
All right, let me just kick it off and say, first of all, thanks to Luyanda down the South Coast, who called me up with a potential lead. And there's a house that actually is belonging, it's a mandate with another agency. And she had a buyer who was very interested in buying this particular property. So we started our investigative work, and it looks as though we might actually have a deal on the table. We're getting the person pre-qualified, etc. They love the place. We've collaborated with the other agency, MD, and yeah, it's just nice to have a partnership going. Collaborative work with Luyanda, who's down in Margate area. Also, again, Stephen, we've never met, but yeah, we've got a wonderful potential sale happening, and very exciting times.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Come on, guys. Someone else. Say thank you. Give someone some kudos for something.
Steve, I just would like to say thank you to Mark Holder. He gave a presentation on Frames VR last week, and he really spent some time with me in the frame explaining everything and introducing me to some of the people that he works with. So yes, I was just glad that for all the time that he spent with me. I really appreciated that.
Alette, just tell us a little bit about Frame, because I've always seen it as a bit gimmicky. Like, what do you think the power of it is? And just explain it to everyone else if you can. I know it's a bit of a wild concept, but give it your best.
Okay, so Frames VR is very similar to the world, but it gives you the opportunity to build your own office, a virtual office online. So you will have to register your office name, and that's a link that you can share with your clients and have meetings there. And they've got screens and walls and things like similar to in this auditorium, where you can either put your video up and have a chat with them that way, or you can have all your details up on the walls. So Mark has some of the documents, like listing documents, he's got up on the wall. It is in a set up in a way so that the client can sign it in the office there. And you've got access to 3 different frames if you're part of EXP. And one of the frames that he has set up is for show days only. So when he's got a show day, he does it virtually. So he's got like a Matterport up on the wall and pictures of the property. And when you go in the frame, he will walk through the Matterport with you and talk and tell them, okay, this is a nice feature, or this is the lounge, this is this, and this is that. So that's just a new way of virtually doing show houses and not sitting in the property yourself. So I think it's a really nice idea. He said that he has signed up agents on an instant, because when they met in the frame, they were so overwhelmed and surprised by everything that is offered. And he also has got a lot of service providers willing to sponsor Matterports and stuff like that, because they were impressed with the frame that he's in. So I really think, because we've got free access to that, I think it's really something we need to explore. It did take a lot of his time. I think he said it took him about 3 months to get everything set up, but it looks really nice, and it is impressive if you go there and have a look and see what it can offer you. So I've decided that I'm going to start at least with my office, to have like somewhere on the walls a little bit of my background and a picture and everything. And if the links on the walls are also interactive. So if we were in the frame where we were in the show house frame, but when we clicked on the wall, go to Mark's office, it took us to Mark's office frame. So that's really nice and interactive. So it's definitely something I think we can explore more.
Okay, excellent. Thanks so much, Alette. Have you got a link that you can put in the chat roll? Where do people start?
I'll see if I can find the link for Mark's office and his show house. I think maybe the best is to, I'm going to put that in the chat roll, but I'll have to just check. There was some training earlier about the frames, and I started with it, but I also had some issues and then I stopped again. So, but I'll share it then on the WhatsApp group later.
Great, excellent. Thanks, Alette.
Steve, just quickly, they can contact mark.holder@expsouthafrica.co.za. I've got my own personal tour set up this morning at 11 o'clock. So we had the frame virtual reality introduction. And then I said to Mark, I wouldn't mind getting a personal tour as if I was, wanting to buy something. So I'm doing that at 11 o'clock. You can book a time with Mark Holder once you've emailed him, and then do your own personal tour. I think it'll have a lot more value.
Okay, super. Thanks, Graham.
It might be worth mentioning that there is a VR friend team in the cloud that you can email, and they will meet with you and they will show you how it works. I think a little bit of training before you get to the Mark Holder might be necessary. I had a tour and I had some coaching, found it a little bit tricky, but it's like everything, I guess, once you've practiced it, you'll get better at it. So that's another place to start as well. But it's also worth mentioning that it's a security tight office. And I'm told that this VR frame is where the hierarchy and EXP hold all the top official meetings that are of a secure nature. So once you get into that office, it's impenetrable. I think that's what was explained to me.
Great, thanks, Patty. And then Monica has just put a comment in saying that there's a Frame VR tour with the EXP SAA agents tomorrow at 4 p.m. So look out for that. Okay, there's Vilma. That's what I was looking for. That's the link to the Frame VR website.
Steve, could I also just jump in here quickly?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just going to say, Mark has done so much work on this already, and he sent me about 10 videos on how to set up a frame, which I've gone through. So, I mean, it took him 3 months because it is quite tricky because it's still in beta stage. But I watched all those videos now, and it's like how to put text on the wall and create links and things like that. So I'm also going to be creating a frame. And what I found very handy, let's say on the recruiting aspect, if you want to introduce an agent, then you can bring them into your frame, and it pretty much gives them the feel of what the world would be like as well, EXP world, but it's just a link, so they don't have to go and download software and log in, etc. So I found that I think it's going to be a very good starting point.
Yeah, I think that's actually the big demarcator between EXP World and Frame VR. I don't think Frame VR looks as good as EXP World, but the fact that it's just a link that people click and it takes them straight into the 3D space without having to download all the software, as you say, Andre, that's, I think, a huge... It's a motivator to use that as a first step to get people involved with this kind of way of interacting. Okay, guys, let's move on. We need to make progress. Thank you to all of you. You can check out Frame VR. I also just wanted to say thank you to all of you that helped me over the weekend as I was trying to reconcile all of the outstanding transactions and all of that. So as a team, and bear in mind, we haven't been as many members as we are now, all for the last 8 months, as EXP started, the team has grown particularly over the last few months. It's growing rapidly now. But we've already done, as a team, about 150 million rands worth of property sales, and about 120 million of that is still waiting to register. So come on, the deeds office. We all waiting to get paid. But it was actually quite encouraging for me to see how many deals have been done. It's just that they haven't registered yet. So, well done to you guys for doing a good job of the property sales. And thank you to those of you who sent me all of your the details on each of your transactions. I appreciate that. Okay, recognitions and wins, etc. So these are the deals done since our last meeting last week. 5 deals. Well done, Alette. 2 deals from Alette. 1 from Emmanuel. 1 from Charles. In fact, 6 deals. I got that wrong. There were 6. 2 from Menno. And that's not bad from Menno, seeing as he's riding his bike around the Netherlands at the moment. Still managed to close 2 little deals. So well done, Menno. I know Menno's not here today, but anyway, kudos to him. And then 5 new agents in the last week joining the team. I mean, this thing is really starting to grow. So Corin de Wet, the lovely Corin de Wet, joined her very, very lovely husband, Peter de Wet. And then Corin sponsored Donald immediately. And then Caroline Glamini joined my team. She's in Port Elizabeth. First Port Elizabeth agent, but we've got the big team from James joining in PE this week. And then Jan joined Paddy and Pakama. Are you here? Pakama. Lindsay.
Yes, he is here.
Great, Pakama. Well, welcome, my friend. Joining Lindsay's team there in Durbs. Kwamashu. Okay, welcome, guys. Right, next on the list is new listings and hot buyers that you want to promote. If you want to do that, please do it quickly because I want to get to today's little presentation. New listings, hot buyers. I don't know if I should be pleased or disappointed. Anyway, guys, you're welcome always. If you think there is something that is very pertinent to the rest of the group, you're then welcome to put it on the WhatsApp group. But obviously, the WhatsApp group is not your listing system. Okay, so we're on to a book of the month. Point number 8, book of the month. Anything you're reading which is outstandingly good and worthy of promotion. Okay, I know I promoted it last week, but I want to strongly recommend you get this book called The Slight Edge. I've continued reading it this last week. The Slight Edge. It will change your life, I promise you. Okay, no other comments on that. Today's training topic. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Justin, but before I do that, let me just remind you what this is about, because this is not new to, well, I suppose it's new to some of you, but to those who've been around for a couple of months, it won't be new. A while ago, you'll remember we had, what was the chap's name? Leon Breitenbach. So Leon is a friend of mine from church, and he was the head of commercial for Rawson. And Leon and I were chatting after church one day, and we were just talking business, and he was saying, no, man, we did a bunch of research on, so this came out of, in the early days, when we were having such problems with the listing system. And those of you who were in early with me remember the teething problems. Oh my word, it was horrendous. And I got so frustrated by this thing that I was trying to find a way to help you guys, where obviously the whole system was out of my control, but let's find another way to list the thing. So I was moaning about this to Leon, and Leon said to me, yeah, but do you use Gumtree? And so I said, Gumtree? What do you, like, people sell second-hand bicycles on Gumtree? What are you talking about? He said, no, we did a bunch of research on where all of our leads at EXP Commercial were coming from. And he said on the top of the list was P24. He then said, I said, what about private property? He said, private property was like hardly even on the list. It was like 5th down, somewhere way down on the list. He said just below P24 on the most fruitful source of leads was Gumtree. And he said that they had some kind of business membership, that Gumtree actually have a whole business section that you can get a membership, and it like feeds your listings beautifully. It refreshes the listing Justin will tell us how many every how many hours it refreshes it, so that it goes, I think it's every 3 days or something, so that it keeps bumping up to the top automatically. And so I then thought, okay, if I've got to fund this myself, just as a way of being a blessing to you guys, because you've joined, and I had a part in your joining, feel like, let me try to add some value on the listing side. So we started talking, and I then thought to myself, okay, we are using PropCon to load listings, okay? Because for those of you who are on the PropCon system, you'll know that you load your listings on REP, that's the EXP listing system. They syndicate from there to the portals. But then we also encourage you to draw the listing off the EXP website or P24, whatever. You just paste the link into PropCon and it sucks the whole listing in. You then make whatever little changes, and I think you need to change the video because P24 won't allow you to have video with your face in it. Change the video, change whatever other details you have to, and have the listing on your PropCon system. And then whenever you email links out or SMS or WhatsApp links out to people, you WhatsApp the PropCon link out. Okay, so I knew that there was now potentially an opportunity for us to use PropCon as a listing management system, which is what Lawrence and Leandro have never really thought about doing with PropCon. So I had a chat to Lawrence. He said, okay, I'm sure we can do this. Lawrence then got in touch with Justin, and man, I can tell you, it is such a pleasure dealing with people who are professional and responsive, and Lawrence, being the developer, can make changes quickly. Oh, it's been such a pleasure. And so we're at the point now where it's now launched, it's live. If you load a listing on PropCon, I'm going to show you a little video just now that Leandro did for me 2 days ago on how to syndicate your listings from PropCon to Gumtree. But before then, I have asked Justin to join us. So Justin, again, is the National Sales Manager for Gumtree, and he's just going to explain a little bit around how this professional membership works, how the feed works, and what the benefits of listing on Gumtree are. So Justin, thank you so much for all the work you've done over the last few months to get this thing working together with Lawrence, and thank you for joining us this morning. We so appreciate it. Over to you, Justin.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks for the opportunity. And yeah, nice to meet everyone on here. Yeah, it's been quite a work, as you would know, over the last couple of months, making sure this is working exactly like you guys wanted to work. And yeah, Lawrence has done a stellar job in getting this sorted, and I think he's grown a couple of extra gray hair. But yeah, at the end of the day, we've got something that we can go to market with, and I'm sure the agents would enjoy it, especially that it's been around for the last 4 years already, across the Gumtree site, from property, jobs, automotive, vehicles, which is our biggest revenue generator, as well as jobs. So some of the agents might have heard about a dashboard or a business option that we have available called Pro Tool. Like I said, it's been around for about 4 years across the Gumtree website. And I think everybody on this call have used Gumtree before, whether it was for a private item to sell, a business item. And you rightfully said, Stephen, that a lot of people think Gumtree, and the perception they have, Gumtree is to sell your unused furniture or your birthday present that your ex-girlfriend gave you, or whatever the case might be. And it's not the case. I mean, Gumtree at the moment is the largest classified site in South Africa, and the second largest website. Now, if you think about it, second largest website, that means we're competing with the likes of News24, who in fact is not just a vertical. They do a lot of different horizontals. But yet Gumtree, being a classified site, is the biggest classified site. And yes, we give credit to the likes of P24, Private Property, who are our biggest competitors. And unfortunately, fortunately, depending on who you speak to, P24, yes, they are the number one. but it doesn't mean that Gumtree stands back for that. We at the moment, just a bit of update on in terms of stats and that. I mean, we've got just over 1 million unique browsers per month. So for those that's not so familiar with the digital terms, unique browser is first-time browsers identified by your IP address. So that means that just over 1 million browsers goes onto the Gumtree website per month. Which is exceptional. Half of it comes off mobile. And when you go to Gumtree, you know what you're looking for. It's not News24 where you read about what COVID's about or what Zuma has been out on medical parole and all of that nonsense. You go to Gumtree looking for something specific. So it's all about being discoverable on the Gumtree website, especially in the instance where, or in the classification where you guys find yourself in, and which is the property market. The property market is super competitive, and yes, you have so many platforms that you can be on. So what we did about 4 years ago, we identified the need that yes, people want to be on Gumtree, and they want to be discoverable, but they don't want to sit and take down their ads every day to make sure their ads go to the top of the page. In some instances, agents were actually employing people that have just left school purely just to load their adverts. Because they were getting so much success out of it, they didn't mind spending 5 or 10 grand a month just on a person loading the adverts. And we said, no, well, it's a great thing to do, but at the end of the day, it's costing the agents a lot of money. So we introduced a system called ProTool, which is our automated system. And when I say automated, it means that once you've loaded your listing onto the Gumtree ProTool dashboard. So just to clarify, ProTool is just a dashboard like what you guys have got the PropCon system. Okay, it's a middleware that assists in getting your ad onto the Gumtree site itself. So we built the system whereby your ads are automated every 30 days. So those of you that used Gumtree before knows that every 30 days your ads expire, and you need to go through that whole teething process of getting all of your 50, 100, 200 ads reposted again. Secondly, you also need to make sure that your ads remain discoverable. So every day people would take their ads down and repost it again, because that's the only way that you can go back to the top of the page and remain discoverable. Or you can alternatively buy a bump up feature. But if you've got 1,000 ads, you can imagine how much that would be. I mean, we've got guys like Safari now, for example, at the moment, they've just got over 9,000 live listings on Gumtree. So that's a task in itself. So what we did with ProTool is, once your ads are loaded onto the system will automatically refresh, meaning bump up, meaning going back to page 1 every 3 days. So once you guys load your ads onto the PropCon dashboard that Lawrence and them have created. Now, those of you that's been in the industry for a while, we also work with the likes of Prop Data, Fusion, Integral, and all of that, just for reference purposes, and I'm not going to elaborate on that. But using PropCon, once you load your advert onto PropCon and it syndicates to Gumtree, that's it. Gumtree will then automatically refresh that listing when it's live every 3 days. So every 3 days, all of your listings will go back to page 1 and start again. So your ads will never show older than 3 days, which also for the public means we can't really negotiate because it's only 3 days old. We know everybody negotiates the longer the ad stays on. So your ads gets refreshed every 3 days. Your ads gets automated on a continuous basis. All of your leads goes into your inbox, into the lead recipient with your contact details on there. The adverts can be branded, and that's something that Stephen and myself discussed, and we will be discussing that ongoing. So at any stage when someone goes onto Gumtree and they search for a listing, you will be there. Because those of you that has used the platform before know that you can pretty soon, when you load an advert at 9 o'clock this morning, within an hour, that ad could potentially be on page 10, and then you are undiscoverable. So PropCon acts as a feed provider, and Lawrence will go through some training as well on their system. Okay, now I won't touch on that. But from our end, all we require you as agents to do is to make sure that that listing has been loaded onto PropCon and it's been sent through to Gumtree. The rest we do. We automate it. We send you the leads. We have logins for each agent that can go in, that can pull a report of all the leads that has come through. Now, I know Poppy has been with us for some time and it's been a bit of a headache, but those leads that you get, you can build up a database as well, market to those clients. Keep in mind, Poppy, but it's there. You can see when people are searching most frequently, when the leads are coming through. So it's a complete business intelligence dashboard that we've created for the agents in order to maximize the exposure that they get from their listings on the Gumtree website. And like I said, it's been around for the last 4 years. We use it across the Gumtree website for property, for jobs, for goods, and for autos. Obviously, it's tweaked in a certain way for the different vertical, but it is our go-to dashboard at the moment.
Justin, there was a question from Alette. I'm not sure if you can answer it. Just saying, if they load a listing on PropCon and then it feeds through to Gumtree, and then there's a change, let's say the price changes or whatever, they go and make a change on the PropCon listing, will that change also automatically feed through?
Yes, it will. And Lawrence can also elaborate on this. But what happens is, so in simple terms, okay, it's basically a copy and paste system, if I can use just simple English. Okay, so whatever they do on the PropCon side, we just paste that information on Gumtree, if I can use it that way. So the changes that they will make will be made on the PropCon, and we then get a little bit more technical, but Lawrence and his team will then send through a URL to us, which includes all of the current listings. And when I say current, what has been updated up until that stage, and we then publish those listings.
And how often is that URL sent? Like, how often does it refresh?
So the link itself will be sent from Lawrence daily, and Lawrence, he's on the call, eh? Not yet. Okay, yeah. So they're supposed to be sending us that every day, but keep in mind the listings refresh in terms of going back to page 1 every 3 days.
Yeah, got it.
But in saying that, Stephen, sorry, in saying that, okay, also the agents will have access to Pro Tool, okay, and should it be a train smash that I want this price change now within a minute, okay, it doesn't hinder them from logging onto Pro Tool and changing it there. So although Pro Tool is your automated system, agents still have access to manually intervene that. Let's say the feed is down or Lawrence is having an issue or whatever, and those listings cannot be sent, okay, because we know tech, anything can happen. The agents can still log in and access the dashboard and do whatever they can. They can even load a brand new listing on the Pro Tool dashboard.
Okay, super. So guys, we will get training to you on how you log into Pro Tool and all of that shortly. Right now, I want to play a video that Leandre did for me a couple of days ago now, showing how you feed the listing from PropCon. You can tell I'm trying to do two things at once here.
EXP agents. My name is Leandre.
And I am Lawrence, and today we're going to show you how to import a listing into your PropCon system, and then admin a few properties, features on the listing,
Personalize it, make it your own.
and then finally sync it through to Gumtree.
Super easy. Directly from your listing screen, click on plus new, and you've got two options. Manual input is for listings that are not already marketed on a public website. For today's purposes, we're going to go on the by link option because we're going to import a listing directly from your EXP website. I'm using a listing from Lydia Forster as an example, opening up the specific home for sale. Click right at the top and copy this URL. Come to PropCon and paste. Tick the box to say that you have permission to work on this listing and click the green button. And just like that, all the wording, the photographs, the details of the listing is pulled into your system. All you need to do is choose the mandate type, relevant features, and in this case, a town or suburb, because it couldn't pick up a specific one linked to the listing.
Yeah, you always need to validate the information when you do a link import. We try our best to make sure that everything works, but currently on the EXP website, there's constant changes. So some of the features that pull in sometimes is mismatched or doesn't work. So when you run into any import issues, let us know at support@propcon.co.za.
Perfect. So pulled in the price, rates and levies. On your EXP website, I couldn't see a specific box for that, but I saw there was reference made in the wording. So I'm just going to add it in. Rates is 855, levy is 650.
Yeah, the import process can't pick it up if it's just normal text written in the description field. It needs to be a dedicated field for
Like
the system to pick it up.
Exactly. So just have a look through the floor size, earth size is there, and then features. Click tick in the box to see if there's extra features, like for example, a built-in braai, maybe it has an electric fence around it, it is a ground floor like insecurity, all these little extra bits and bobs that it might have, has a parking bay, for example.
I know in this instance the bathrooms are two.
All right.
Just need to fix that.
There we go. Wording wise, the wording pulled through exactly the way it is on the EXP website, but for these purposes to show you what is possible, I'm just going to edit it a bit. I'm going to remove this little section here, and I definitely want to keep the call to action in the box. On PropCon, you can really personalize this. You can, for example, decide to highlight everything, center align it, and maybe even highlight bold a certain section, and you can change the colors if you want to do that as well.
Remember, this video is about Gumtree, and if you do all these fancy font styling with bolds and centerline, that won't work on Gumtree. That all gets removed when it goes through to Gumtree.
Correct.
These formatting settings only work on the PropCon brochures.
Definitely, and it's more for you to add your own spice to specific listings. Public address. So this side shows on the brochure, if you have it in here, the public address. Internal is for your own use. Then you've got 3 boxes for videos. If there was a video on the website, it would have pulled in the video of the property over here below the fold, and it would have pulled in the 3D Matterport. You guys have a special box option to add in a video above the fold. So before I add a video in, I want to show you what it looks like without doing any changes. Just going to save. And now I click on view to see the online brochure.
Or listing landing page,
Yes.
Stephen.
It will be branded with your EXP branding right here at the top. This is the section above the fold that I'm referring to. It has all the specs that we completed, especially the extra bells and whistles, the rates and the levies. Here's the wording that's center aligned with our section that's in bold. It has photographs that your clients can scroll through. It has the exact address, and if your clients click on here, it'll open up in Google Maps, and then your information right at the bottom. Now I want to show you what happens if we add in a video above the fold. This is a very, very nifty suggestion from Stephen, where you can record a video in front of the house. I just did something like a mock-up with another listing. You load it onto YouTube and you copy the link right there at the top as well. It's a very simple video, guys, where I just say, I'm Leandre van Rooyen, this is my new listing, and kind of familiarize them with the listing landing page. I'm just going to paste in the video link to the video link above the fold and save. If I refresh over here, it's going to add in that video above the fold. So now there will be a section where you can say a little bit about you, tell them how to work on the listing, and hyper-personalize this listing brochure of yours. And now, how do you get this onto Gumtree?
That is actually the easy part. So now that you have the listing in your system, you made all the changes, you are happy with the listing, now you can sync it through to Gumtree. One thing to note, only sync listings that you have permission to work on. Do not sync or pull in other people's listings with their photos, their videos, if you don't have permission to market that listing with that photos of, or video. So to do it, it's super easy. On every listing, there's a visibility submenu item. You click on that. It will open the visibility section and you tick Gumtree. In this case, we are not activated for Gumtree, but if you are part of Stephen's group, there will be a green tick box saying that your listing has been synced through to Gumtree. It's not immediate. I'm not actually sure how often Gumtree will come and collect that information, but let's say at least once a day. So it will take a few hours or a day or something for your listing to appear on Gumtree. So it's as easy as that. Go to a listing, click on visibility, click on the Gumtree tick box, and you're done.
As easy as that. The other tick box that's there, by the way, is the one on your brag page, your business card. And as a final ending note, if you pull in a listing of another agent and it has their branded videos in there, the video link will be inserted in here. If you remove it and save, it'll remove their branded videos from your landing pages. So yeah, all your listings in PropCon is private, unlisted, meaning somebody can't click on the link, or meaning it's not publicly marketed. You have to share it with someone. You have to physically send it to them for them to see that listing. Whereas when you market it on Gumtree, it's of course a public marketing platform where it needs to be your own listings or listings that where you have explicit permission to market publicly. If you have any questions about this, you can always reach us at support@propcon.co.za. Dankie. Dankie. See you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, fantastic. Right, hopefully that made sense, guys. If you've got questions, you're welcome to send them through to me. I probably won't be able to answer them if they're like super technical questions, but we can then get Lawrence to answer those questions. I hope that this is a fruitful and successful little initiative. And yeah, guys, I do reserve the right to stop paying for it, because just remember, I'm not your principal, I'm not your boss. I'm just doing this as a fellow team member because I think it's got value for us as a team. But if it's not working and you guys are not, sort of using it and it's not got value, then I might just pull the plug on it at some point. But anyway, there it is. I offer it to you with my blessings, and yeah, enjoy. Okay, so upcoming events. Let's wrap up today's meeting. Anything that's upcoming? I don't have anything that I've written down here, but do you want to just tell us about any kind of event that's coming up in EXP World you think's worth attending? All right, questions and comments, guys. Over to you to close off the meeting.
Hi, Steve.
How's it, Monica?
Very well, and you?
Good, good.
Just a quick, if we just go back to the Gumtree feed, firstly, thank you for everything that you do. I mean, this is completely above and beyond. I really appreciate it. What would be, if we've already in PropCon, if we've already ticked the visibility to go through to Gumtree, is that automatically going to start feeding through, or is there anything else we need to do from our side?
Maybe Justin wants to comment, but I think Justin's left us. But as I understand it, once you tick that box, then it goes through to Gumtree, then it's live.
So those that we've already done that are ticked will automatically start pulling through.
Well, there wasn't a Gumtree box previously, so you'll need to go into the listings and tick the Gumtree box for your existing listings.
Okay, thanks.
So, Steve, I asked if you knew where the actual inquiry will come from. Does it come from a Gumtree address or SMS, or because a weird thing happened over the weekend with my one listing that I went and actually went through the box that we were just playing with now and clicked that Gumtree box, and suddenly I got like a whole chain of inquiries. So, but they came from Prop 24. So I'm just wondering where it's feeding to, just so we can properly understand the system, if you know.
I actually don't know, but I'm assuming it's going to be an email or a text, but I'm assuming an email from Gumtree. And it doesn't come to me; it comes directly to each of you. So I don't know. We'll have to just see.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, and that's kind of what I was expecting to happen. As I said, it was just weird that I clicked that Gumtree box and then suddenly got this whole chain of inquiries from Prop 24, which I just thought was weird, but perhaps just coincidental. Thanks. And thank you very much for this initiative. It's incredible.
Great. I can hear someone's fiddling with the screen behind me. Justin sent his apologies. His computer crashed, which is why I left the meeting. Okay, guys, that is it for the morning. Have a wonderful week ahead. Have a productive week ahead. If I can be of assistance with anything, please let me know. For those of you who were guests here today, so lovely to have you in our family time. Hope you had a good experience as well. And let's get back on the phone. For those of you who were my guests, I'm assuming I've got an appointment booked with each of you. But if I don't, let's get together. Okay, guys, that's it.